let's look at network Cs. Let's see how network Cs works, okay? So in this main phase 2, network Cs is going to seize one thing. It's going to seize a procedure room, okay? And you notice it says list of resources there next to it. It's actually a list of resource pools that you're listing here. So the things in curly brackets. By the way, what are those curly brackets? Who knows what that is there? It's a bit of Java code. Like, it's an array. Yeah. It's an array there that's being defined. Okay, so there's a list of resources here, which is just proc room. And actually, if we were to go over to main phase 3, and you're welcome to do that or not as you see fit, what you'll notice there is that we're actually going to be seizing 3 different pools of resources: a proc room, a doctor, and a scope. And what that's saying is we're reserving one from each. So we need a proc room, we need a doctor, and we need a scope. And we are going to block, so this is seizing, okay, this is important. This is seizing one resource from each pool. One resource may be seized while waiting for the others. So I may be associated with reserve this procedure room that's under my name, reserve the doctor, but if the scope's not available, I'm going to keep that reservation for each of those other 2 until I get that scope. If I want to do them sequentially, then I could sort of say, okay, first you need the doc, and only then can you proceed to the others. So these are the resource pools with which the entity is seeking association. Again, this is all about reserving, as it were, these resources for the entity. Okay. Now there's something else though that you may have noticed in main phase 2, which is there's this queue capacity. Queue capacity specifies basically how many people can be waiting here to seize these resources. Because if something's not available, if this procedure room is not available right now, you're not going to be able to seize it. And you're going to have to wait. Someone else is using it, so you're going to have to wait for some procedure room. By the way, this is, again, it's a pool, so it could be any of the procedure rooms, okay? Maybe just to make this more concrete, I will run this. In case any of you want to do it, if you go down to the simulation and you pull down, you're going to have to switch between these. You're going to have to pull down the main object class, the root, and select main phase 2 here, okay? That's in the simulation. And then you should be able to run it. And just to make this concrete so you could see it on the screen, this is main phase 2. And if I speed this up, what I'm going to have is, here's a person. They come in, and so this person sees this room. They came in. And we have people sort of coming in and going to these procedure rooms. So they're entering, and they're seizing they're entering here, they're seizing rooms, and then they're leaving. And sometimes there's a fair number of these people that may be awaiting in the entry hall. Sometimes there's few of them. If we wanted to have more people, if we wanted them to come in sooner, how would we do that? Based on what we've seen already. Source. So let's go to the source. And right now it's 0.05. So let's bump it up to 0.2, something like that. They come in 4 times as fast, right? And now we could run it again, and they're coming in quite a bit faster. And they're going to be, once again, queuing up. So I'm going to speed this up. And so you'll notice some of them are waiting now in that entry hall. Why are they waiting there? Why are these folks waiting? Yeah, the proc rooms are not yet available. And you'll notice that the entry hall is becoming rather more crowded. Why do you think that is? They're arriving faster than they're leaving. The inflow is greater than the outflow.
So that's the one that queue, right?
And so it ran out of capacity for them. Sorry?
That's the queue of 100.
The queue of 100 is awaiting this network Cs, okay? So that is a queue capacity of 100. 100 can be waiting in line for the proc room. And that, yes, they're in the waiting room until that point.
So what happens if you go over at 100?
Well, so there are ways to have balking for queues. So in other words, once it reaches more than a certain level, you can have an individual balk out. So in other words, they say, I'm out of here. It's too crowded. I'm going back home. And I think maybe some of us have experienced that with emergency rooms and so on. You're wondering if you have something wrong with your arm, but the people around you are coughing so much, you figure you're probably worse off waiting than having it looked at. So there are ways to allow for balking, and by default, unless you specify some alternative, it will basically say, okay, at some point, it's not able to process it. So you have to put in some logic. It crashes in the sense that it gives a defined message saying that it couldn't accomplish the flow. Yeah. Okay. So in fact, we just saw that. So yeah.